What if I told you the vegetables you've trusted for decades might actually be destroying your leg strength? I know that sounds impossible. After all, we've been told our entire lives to eat our vegetables. They're supposed to be the foundation of healthy eating, the key to longevity, the secret to staying strong as we age. But here's the uncomfortable truth that the health industry doesn't want you to know: not all vegetables are created equal, and some of the ones sitting in your refrigerator right now could be the hidden reason you're losing strength, struggling to climb stairs, or feeling weaker than you did just a few years ago. If you're over 60 and you've noticed your legs don't feel as strong as they used to, if you're experiencing unusual stiffness in the morning, or if you feel like your independence is slowly slipping away despite eating healthy, then what I'm about to share with you could change everything. The reality is this: certain vegetables contain compounds that interfere with your body's ability to maintain and build muscle mass. They trigger inflammation, disrupt protein synthesis, and accelerate the exact muscle loss that makes everyday activities harder. And the worst part? These are vegetables that doctors and nutritionists have been recommending for years. But don't worry. Not all vegetables are the enemy. In fact, I'm going to show you exactly which 5 vegetables are silently draining your strength and, more importantly, which nutrient-dense alternatives can actually help you rebuild that muscle, restore your mobility, and reclaim the active lifestyle you deserve. By the end of this article, you'll know exactly what to remove from your diet and what to add instead. Your legs will thank you for it. You've probably been told it's just aging. That it's normal to feel weaker in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. That the heaviness in your legs when you climb stairs, the stiffness when you get out of bed, lost their your muscles seem that's to all have. Just part of getting older, right? Wrong. What's actually happening inside your body is far more specific, and far more fixable, than simply aging. The truth is, 3 critical processes are working against your muscle strength right now, and the foods you're eating could be accelerating every single one of them. First, there's circulation decline. As we age, blood flow to our muscles naturally decreases, which means less oxygen, fewer nutrients, and slower recovery. But certain foods make this worse by promoting arterial stiffness and reducing the flexibility of blood vessels. When your muscles aren't getting adequate blood flow, they literally cannot maintain their size and strength. Second, collagen breakdown accelerates after 60. Collagen is the structural protein that holds your muscles, tendons, and joints together. After age 60, your body produces significantly less collagen while breaking down existing collagen faster. Some vegetables contain compounds called lectins and oxalates that interfere with collagen synthesis and actually promote its degradation. The result? Weaker connective tissue, reduced muscle support, and that feeling of fragility you might be experiencing. Third, and most importantly, chronic low-grade inflammation becomes the silent destroyer of muscle tissue. This isn't the inflammation you feel after an injury, it's a constant, invisible process called inflammaging that literally eats away at muscle fibers. And here's where the vegetable problem comes in. You've been told your whole life that vegetables equal health. And for the most part, that's true. But not all vegetables are created equal, especially when you're over 60. Some vegetables contain high levels of anti-nutrients, inflammatory compounds, and digestive irritants that your aging body can no longer process efficiently. These vegetables trigger systemic inflammation, disrupt protein absorption, and interfere with the very mechanisms your body uses to maintain muscle mass. The vegetables sitting in your crisper drawer might be healthy for a 30-year-old, but they could be toxic for your aging muscles. And the scary part? You'd never know what's happening until the damage is already done. Let me paint a picture that might feel uncomfortably familiar. You're at the grocery store, and there's a case of water bottles on the bottom shelf. You hesitate. Do you bend down and risk not being able to get back up easily? Do you ask a stranger for help? Or do you just skip it and hope you have enough at home? You're visiting your grandchildren, and they want you to come upstairs to see their room. You look at those stairs and feel a wave of dread. You know your legs will burn by the 3rd step. You know you'll need the handrail just to make it. You know you'll be breathing hard at the top, and everyone will see. You're getting out of your favorite armchair, the one you've sat in for years. But now it feels like it's swallowing you. You rock forward once, twice, 3 times before you can generate enough momentum to stand. And you can see it in your spouse's eyes: worry. Concern. The unspoken question, are you okay? This is what weak legs steal from you. Not just physical strength, but dignity. Independence. Freedom. It starts small. You avoid certain activities. You make excuses. You rearrange your life around what your legs can and can't do anymore. You stop volunteering for things that require standing. You don't go on walks with friends. You turn down invitations because you're afraid of falling, afraid of being a burden, afraid of being seen as old and fragile. And then one day you realize your world has gotten smaller. The life you used to live active, independent, confident feels like it belongs to someone else. But here's what most people don't understand: this isn't inevitable, and it's not just about exercise. You could be doing chair exercises every day, taking your walks, staying as active as possible, and still losing ground. Because if the foundation is broken, if your nutrition is working against you instead of for you, no amount of movement will save your muscle mass. Every day that you unknowingly consume vegetables that trigger inflammation, block nutrient absorption, and accelerate muscle breakdown, you're losing ground. Your leg muscles are getting weaker, your connective tissue is degrading, and your risk of a fall that could change your life forever is increasing. The statistics are frightening. 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls each year. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related deaths in seniors. And the number one predictor of fall risk? Leg weakness. But there's something even more insidious than a sudden fall: the slow loss of independence. The gradual realization that you can't do things yourself anymore. That you need help with tasks that used to be automatic. That you're becoming dependent on others. This is why identifying and eliminating the vegetables that are destroying your muscle strength isn't just about health, it's about preserving your independence, protecting your dignity, and maintaining your quality of life. The good news? Once you know what's causing the problem, you can fix it. But you have to act now, before more damage is done. Now it's time to reveal the 5 vegetables that are silently sabotaging your strength. I'm counting down from number 5 to number 1, the absolute worst offender. These aren't exotic or unusual foods. They're sitting in kitchens across the country, recommended by well-meaning nutritionists, and you've probably eaten at least one of them this week. Vegetable number 5, corn. This one surprises most people. Corn is everywhere: on the cob, in salads, mixed into casseroles. It seems wholesome, natural, even nostalgic. But here's the hidden danger: corn is essentially pure starch that converts rapidly to sugar in your bloodstream. When your blood sugar spikes repeatedly, it triggers a process called glycation, where sugar molecules attach to your muscle proteins and literally make them rigid and dysfunctional. For seniors, this is devastating. Glycation accelerates muscle stiffness and reduces the flexibility of muscle fibers, making every movement feel harder. But there's more: corn is also incredibly inflammatory due to its high omega-6 fatty acid content. This creates systemic inflammation that attacks your joints and connective tissue. If you've noticed tingling in your legs, especially after meals, or if your knees feel stiffer after eating corn, this is why. Your body is struggling to process the inflammatory load and sugar spikes simultaneously. Vegetable number 4, white potatoes. I know potatoes are a staple. But white potatoes are one of the highest glycemic vegetables you can eat, meaning they cause massive blood sugar spikes that promote insulin resistance. And insulin resistance doesn't just lead to diabetes, it directly blocks your muscles' ability to absorb amino acids and build new protein. Here's what happens: every time you eat white potatoes, your insulin levels surge. Over time, your muscle cells become resistant to insulin signals. This means even if you're eating enough protein, your muscles can't use it. They literally starve while you're feeding them. White potatoes also contain solanine, especially in the skin and any green spots. Solanine is a glycoalkaloid compound that triggers inflammation in aging joints and muscles. Many seniors report increased joint pain, leg swelling, and morning stiffness after eating potatoes, and they have no idea why. If your ankles are swelling by the end of the day, or your legs feel puffy and heavy, potatoes could be flooding your system with compounds that promote fluid retention and inflammation. Vegetable number 3, tomatoes. This is where people start to get defensive. Tomatoes are heart-healthy, full of lycopene, good for you, right? Not necessarily, not for your legs, and not after 60. Tomatoes are nightshades, which means they contain alkaloids that can aggravate inflammation, particularly in people with compromised gut health. And let's be honest, most people over 60 have some level of digestive inflammation they don't even know about. But the real problem with tomatoes is their acidity and lectin content. Lectins are proteins that bind to the lining of your digestive tract and prevent proper nutrient absorption. When you're over 60, you desperately need every bit of calcium, magnesium, and protein you can get to maintain muscle mass. Lectins block this process, essentially creating a nutritional void even when you think you're eating healthy. The acidity in tomatoes also leaches calcium from your bones. Weaker bones mean less structural support for your muscles, and calcium deficiency directly contributes to muscle cramps, spasms, and that awful Charlie horse feeling in your calves at night. If you wake up with leg cramps, or if you experience sharp, shooting pains in your legs seemingly out of nowhere, your tomato consumption could be depleting the minerals your muscles need to function properly. Vegetable number 2, spinach. Yes, spinach, Popeye's favorite. This is going to shock you, but spinach might be one of the worst vegetables for leg strength in seniors. Here's why: spinach contains extremely high levels of oxalates. Oxalates are compounds that bind to calcium and magnesium in your gut, forming crystals that your body cannot use. These crystals don't just pass through harmlessly, they can deposit in your muscles, joints, and even your kidneys. After age 60, your kidneys become less efficient at filtering and eliminating oxalates. This means they accumulate in your system, and those sharp oxalate crystals literally get stuck in your muscle tissue. The result? Muscle stiffness, especially in the morning. Joint pain. A feeling of grittiness in your movements. But it gets worse. Spinach also contains goitrogens, compounds that interfere with thyroid function. Your thyroid controls your metabolism, and a sluggish thyroid means your body cannot maintain muscle mass efficiently. You'll feel tired, weak, and no matter how much protein you eat, your muscles just won't respond. If you experience severe morning stiffness that takes an hour or more to loosen up, or if your legs feel weak and heavy despite getting enough sleep, spinach could be depositing oxalate crystals in your muscle fibers and suppressing your thyroid at the same time. Vegetable number 1, eggplant, the worst offender. Here it is, the number 1 vegetable that's absolutely devastating for leg strength in seniors: eggplant. Eggplant seems innocent. It's used in healthy Mediterranean dishes, it's low in calories, and it soaks up flavors beautifully. But behind that purple skin lurks a perfect storm of muscle-destroying compounds. First, eggplant is a nightshade with one of the highest solanine concentrations of any commonly eaten vegetable. Solanine doesn't just cause inflammation, it interferes with the enzyme cholinesterase, which is essential for proper nerve-muscle communication. When your nerves can't properly signal your muscles, you experience weakness, tremors, and that frightening feeling that your legs might give out under you. Second, eggplant contains nazeanin, a compound that, while technically an antioxidant, actually chelates iron from your body. Iron is absolutely critical for oxygen transport to your muscles. Without adequate iron, your muscles fatigue instantly, you feel breathless with minimal exertion, and your legs feel like they're made of lead. Third, eggplant is incredibly high in histamines, which promote inflammation and fluid retention. For seniors with already compromised circulation, this is disastrous. Histamines cause blood vessels to become leaky, leading to edema, that puffy, swollen feeling in your ankles and calves that makes your shoes feel tight by afternoon. But here's the most insidious part: eggplant disrupts calcium metabolism. It contains compounds that prevent calcium from being properly absorbed and utilized by your muscle cells. Calcium isn't just for bones, it's essential for muscle contraction. Without adequate calcium, your muscles become weak, twitchy, and prone to cramping. If you've ever eaten eggplant parmesan or ratatouille and then noticed your legs feeling unusually heavy the next day, or experienced unexplained leg cramps that night, now you know why. Eggplant is literally draining your muscles of the minerals and oxygen they need while triggering inflammation throughout your lower body. The worst part? Most people eat eggplant thinking they're making a healthy choice, completely unaware that this seemingly innocent vegetable is accelerating their muscle loss and weakness every single time they consume it. You might be wondering, if these vegetables were fine when I was younger, why are they causing problems now? The answer lies in three fundamental changes that happen inside your body after age 60, changes that make you uniquely vulnerable to the compounds in these vegetables. The collagen collapse. Starting around age 30, your body begins producing less collagen, about 1% less each year. By the time you hit 60, you've lost nearly a third of your collagen production. Think of collagen as the scaffolding that holds your entire body together. It's in your muscles, tendons, ligaments, and joints. When collagen declines, your muscles lose their structural integrity. It's like a building where the steel beams are slowly rusting away. The walls might still be standing, but the framework is weakening from the inside out. Your muscle fibers become fragile, prone to microtears, and they can't generate the same force they once could. Now here's where those vegetables come in. Compounds like lectins and solanine actively interfere with collagen synthesis. They don't just slow down production, they accelerate breakdown. Research from the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry has shown that glycoalkaloids, found abundantly in nightshade vegetables, can disrupt the cross-linking process that makes collagen strong and flexible. It's like pouring acid on those already rusting steel beams. The inflammation storm. After 60, your body enters a state researchers call inflammaging, chronic, low-grade inflammation that becomes the default setting. This isn't the acute inflammation you get from an injury that heals in a few days. This is a constant, smoldering fire inside your tissues. Vegetables like tomatoes and eggplant act as accelerants on this fire. When you consume high glycemic vegetables like corn or potatoes, your blood sugar spikes, triggering an insulin response. But insulin doesn't just regulate blood sugar, it's also a pro-inflammatory signaling molecule. Each spike creates a wave of inflammatory markers called cytokines that flood your bloodstream and attack your muscle tissue. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults over 60 who consumed high glycemic foods regularly showed significantly elevated levels of C-reactive protein, a key inflammation marker directly linked to muscle wasting and weakness. Think of it like throwing gasoline on an already burning fire. Your body simply can't handle the inflammatory load anymore. The circulation crisis. Here's what most people don't realize. Your circulatory system at 60 is not the same powerhouse it was at 30. Your blood vessels have stiffened. Your heart pumps less efficiently. Blood flow to your extremities, especially your legs, has decreased by as much as 30 to 40%. This matters because your muscles depend on constant blood flow to receive oxygen and nutrients and to remove metabolic waste. When circulation is compromised, your muscles are already operating at a disadvantage. Now add vegetables high in oxalates, like spinach. These oxalates form crystals that can accumulate in your blood vessels, making them even stiffer and narrower. It's like trying to push water through a garden hose that's kinked and clogged with debris. Research from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrated that elderly individuals with high oxalate intake showed measurably reduced peripheral circulation and increased arterial stiffness. Your aging circulatory system simply cannot process and eliminate these compounds the way it once could. They build up, causing damage over time.